Oh, they're out. They're just chilling. He's fine. I thought we were prepping, man. I thought we were prepping for a breakdown. Little arm around his... No, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, we chill. You look kind of anxious, man.
Don't worry about that, right?
Just slap it, mate. Assert dominance. Is he healed? Legit?
Yeah.
I'll bear sock in it.
A lot of work to do.
This is great progress, though. This feels too good to be true. Hello, and welcome to another Better Call Saul Sunday. Thank you for being here. This is episode 9, Pimento. Good to have you. Welcome, and let's get on with the episode. Flamingo check. That's right, I'm the flamingo. God, no, do you know what? I don't actually know what sound they make. I should find out. I'll be honest with you. It's been a while.
Yeah, I bet that one's gonna keep a lot of burglars away.
Hey man, the small ones are the meanest, I tell you right now.
The dog can stay here.
Little Motley. What are you going to call it, mate? Matty? That's too soon. That is absolutely too soon. That's fair.
They're attempting to keep me away from their victims. My client.
I'm not going to lie, right? Last episode did such a good job in investing me in this case, right? Like, because I'm so into it. There's so much in regards to stakes. On the one hand, we've got obviously, you know, Jimmy, right? We've also got Chuck on his side, right? We want him to recover as the audience. This season's got us so invested in his journey. We've seen at the beginning of the episode him doing well, and maybe that's, I'm thinking now, maybe that's tied with him doing well in a case. Him getting back to being himself, being the big lawyer man at HHM, right? And the big 20 million down on the table, right? At the end of last episode. Maybe all of that contributed to him getting better. And so like now I'm thinking maybe there's more on the line in this case than just winning the case. Maybe it's getting Chuck better. Maybe it's getting him back to some semblance of who he was himself, right? So you got those two things, first of all. 3, they established this guy, the antagonist, really, really well. He was super slimy. You've also got that anticipation because of, I feel like, at least from what I noticed last episode, he was on the back foot. He was nervous, right? So there's that anticipation of like, oh, come on, expose that. Do you know? So it's all of these ingredients that make this whole now going into episode 9 and into the finale that make me as the audience like really invested.
No one is denying Mr. McGill access to his clients. We're denying him access to the property.
It's semantics.
Yes, it is. Come on. Are you really arguing whether to be allowed in the building or not? That's so silly.
You're denying him access on what
Yes,
grounds?
mate.
These
Ask
assisted
questions,
living
good.
residents. And Mr. McGill, who is very loud and flamboyant.
All the time.
Leave whenever they want. We're talking about elderly.
Yeah, man. That's not as easy for those guys.
But for residents who don't want to be afflicted with Mr. McGill's presence.
I'll be honest with you, man. I have so much respect for those people that are just touch type. Do you know what I mean? You cannot make a mistake. I will be there in the corner. I will be honest with you. Just go, guys. Wait, hang. Can you just roll back a minute? Wait, what was that last one? Do you know what I mean? I have so much respect, legitimately.
But for residents who don't want to be afflicted with Mr. McGill's presence.
Oh, come on. Again, that disrespect, man. I'm not being funny. Afflicted with his dude, slimy. Again, the blatant disrespect. If Chuck was in there, he wouldn't be lobbing jibes across at the other side, you know, personal attacks almost, right? I know it's not necessarily an attack, but it's like, it's petty. And he wouldn't do that with Chuck. He wouldn't. The whole point of this guy's attack, the whole like argument that he's leveling is, he's mentioned it like a few times now. The first one was when he was like, oh yeah, Mr. McGill, he's loud and flamboyant and he's disturbing the elderly people. His whole argument is predicated on attacking Jimmy's character. That's kind of insane, right? And it kind of, you know, bringing what I was talking about last episode into this episode, it kind of proves my point, right? All of these people coming at him for who he is, and Jimmy being constantly undermined and having to fight harder, twice as hard to achieve, you know, the same as some of these guys.
Then FYI, old people adore me.
I have enough here to let me rule on this restraining order.
For real?
Don't worry, Chuck. That's not smoke you smell. That's me.
Okay, good.
Documents calling into question the mental health of many of our elderly clients.
Oh, that's low, man.
They're going to continue this document dump until we're drowning in paperwork.
I've seen Suits. I know this is a tactic. You can get through it. You can. I've seen it happen.
No big deal. Just hit it head on.
Jimmy.
All you gotta do, mate, hit it with a montage.
Jimmy.
Prioritize. Most important stuff first.
Jimmy, mate, just simmer down. Listen to the man.
A case this size, it is not a two-man job. We need help.
Yeah, here it starts. And that's why he was trying to avoid the conversation, because Chuck's like, no, we need HHM. Absolutely where it's going. And then Jimmy's just going to get pushed out, right? It's what I was talking about last episode. Actually, this is a great time, actually, to bring up what I put in my pinned comment of the last video. I know not everyone's going to read that stuff, so, and that's fair, you know, you're not obligated to. But I don't want people missing out on, you know, some of the speculation that I had last episode, because sometimes, you know, hey man, these episodes, you know, they live in my head for a little bit afterwards, and especially when I'm editing, I come up with extra thoughts or speculations, or I see stuff, obviously knowing the full episode and obviously going back and essentially watching it again. So the reason that I'm bringing this up now is because it's very heavily involved in regard to Jimmy and Chuck, right? And I just want to kind of update you on where I stand with these two. So my speculation is that I got an inkling of maybe it's not just Hamlin that rejected Jimmy from the firm, maybe not Hamlin at all. Again, yeah, Hamlin went in and actually gave the news, and like, I don't know, I was watching it back and I was like, nah, maybe this is like a little bit of a favor, right? A favor that Hamlin is doing to Chuck, right? Chuck maybe went to him and was like, nah, I don't know. And by the way, this is rooted in some of the, I guess, analysis I did last episode on Chuck that might be wrong. If you do want to skip this bit, go to this timestamp here and you can just skip it if you've read the comment or whatever else. So yeah, I did speculate last episode about Chuck's possible ego and the need to be kind of above Jimmy intellectually, because I noticed this has always been the dynamic, right? And perhaps the shift in dynamic was something Chuck wasn't fully comfortable with. After all, in the flashback at the beginning of last episode, you know, we have Jimmy for the first time stepping outside, finally changing that dynamic and being like, I don't need your help. I did it myself. So working with this like ego from Chuck's point of view, you know, this intellectual ego, this dynamic between the brothers of him kind of always being the one to be the help, right? The control, the power, right? And I don't think it's insidious. I don't think Chuck particularly means it this way. I don't think he means it in an insidious, in a controlling way. I think if he really examined it himself, like he would see it. I think he might eventually. But going back to last episode, I think he was very insecure as a lawyer. What triggered him in the meeting to say 20 million was the jab from the, you know, the opposite lawyer, the slimy lawyer. The whole kind of, I thought you'd be working at the Supreme Court by now. I think that really got to him. I think it really bothers him where he could have been and where he is now in life, right? And I think Chuck basically has a point to prove. He didn't feel impressive in himself last episode. Thinking back, I suppose that's been present the whole season, honestly. There's always some kind of fact or a few lines of him rattling off something obscure that makes those around him perceive him as clever. Now, I think back on it, I'm not sure the specifics chronicle events. I'm not actually sure, and I still haven't gone back to this scene, so I'm so sorry. But when he was in hospital, the doctor complimented him as a very clever man, and then suddenly he didn't feel the electronics of her turning on the bed or whatever. Now, I think that happened after she called him clever, right? And I'm not sure. I'd have to watch it back. So again, I could absolutely confirm my speculation a little bit more, my theory a little bit more. But yeah. That kind of feels like that's what happened, at least from my recollection of the event. And so that makes me think that it's a trigger for him, a hook for why he feels the way he feels in the present. And yeah, going back to that conversation in the flashback, Chuck literally says, you didn't come to me for help. It kind of sheds some light as to their relationship and what Chuck has been used to. From that flashback going forward, suddenly Jimmy shows he no longer needs the help of his brother. This also makes a lot of sense as to why he keeps putting Jimmy down, despite the evidence that Jimmy is doing well and doing things the right way, because I think he is. And I think last episode I talked about it a lot. Chuck's pushing Jimmy down on purpose, or at least subconsciously, because of this unidentified need within himself to be the intellectual one. This also supplies a reason for why Chuck chooses to help Jimmy. He's subtly in competition with him. And I think that's also true. And it's kind of why I brought this up and wanted to read this out a little bit, because I feel like that's maybe what's happening here as well, right? We're going back to the big leagues, right? HHM, and Chuck almost taking this off him and being like, no, this is the better side here, my side, right? This is how we're going to get it done. If we stay on your side, if we stay with you and your kind of fake lawyer, you know, a small-time lawyer gig that you've got going on, we're not going to win this, right? And I feel like there is a subtle shift, a subtle distinction in the way that Chuck's dividing him and Jimmy in this moment, in this scene that we're seeing right now in this episode. Basically, what it comes down to is that I do feel like, to some extent, Chuck is kind of the hidden antagonist of the series. And I'm very interested to see where this episode goes and how much it maybe, I don't know, fleshes that out a little bit more. Maybe that's going to get proved. Maybe it's going to get disproved. I don't know. But I definitely saw last episode that, like, I feel like Chuck is more in Jimmy's way a lot of the time, especially since the flashback we saw last episode. I do feel like that was, like I said in that episode, very foundational, very kind of like the crux of the issue that we're seeing presently in the show right now, and the dynamic between Jimmy and Chuck. By the way, a little nugget, that also leaves the door open for Hamlin being the good guy. I feel like that's got like so much character to me, genuinely. I feel like there could be so much potential for that, and actually all of this animosity that I feel like is rooted in his and Jimmy's relationship could be just unfounded. But yeah, TLDR, I think Chuck has this intellectual ego that I kind of saw a little bit last episode. I think, you know, subconsciously he's pushing Jimmy down. I think he's in subtle competition with him, and I think it's manifesting itself in really kind of toxic ways in regard to Jimmy. actually. And I think it's really unfair to Jimmy in a certain way too. And like I say, I think it's all the more kind of cruel or harsh or sad to watch because I don't think it's on purpose from Chuck's side, right? And I do feel like that's all going to come to a head. Maybe Jimmy's going to notice it first. Maybe Chuck's going to, I feel like Jimmy more so maybe. But anyway, sorry. Thank you for indulging me. Again, I wrote a big paragraph in the comment, the pinned comment of last video, and I just kind of wanted to put it on video because that's how I'm feeling. I wanted to just talk about it a little bit before we kind of got, I guess, into the meat of this episode. So without further ado, sorry, thank you. Let's get on with it.
Refer it out to HHM.
No, come on.
And it's so sad because of my theory is true. The only reason Jimmy's doing this is because he's been pushed into the position he's in, and he feels like he does. He has to prove himself, right? And how cruel would that be if it was because Chuck rejected him?
This is our case.
Yes, it's ours.
Is it though? I feel like, Jimmy, it was yours and Chuck came in and now he's taking it over.
Could we do it alone? Maybe, but it would take forever. Just how long do you think the residents of Sandpiper Crossing have?
And like, he's got a point as well.
That argument you won today against the restraining order. Judge was never going to grant that.
Wow, subtly. Do you like notice as well, Jimmy walked in, he's like, oh, I'm hot sauce, mate. I don't think that's what he said particularly, but like, you know what I mean? He said something to that effect. And he walked in and he was so high, right? He was so high, he was so happy he'd won the thing. And he was like, listen to this, Chuck. Oh man, I absolutely smoked him. And he did that. And then Chuck says this.
Judge was never going to grant that.
Chuck! You know what I mean? It's like he takes that away from Jimmy. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm absolutely riding on this whole thing of like Chuck is the antagonist, the greater antagonist, at least of season 1 so far. But he is, that's so cruel. Don't do that. Don't invalidate his win. And like the sad thing about that is that Jimmy's going to take that because Jimmy respects Chuck so much, like everybody else. And so like Chuck saying something like that, that's so much power that Chuck's wielding.
And we'll be so busy swatting them away, we'll never spend any time on the actual case.
I do also think he's got a point there. And that's what's interesting about it, right? Because it's complex, it's great, it's not one-sided.
And we don't have the capital to carry it forward by ourselves.
It's a compelling argument, and I believe him. And I do think he's got the expertise to know that too.
Hail Satan. I submit to the dark side.
Hey, come on though, get Jimmy on board though. Not being funny.
I know you'll come to see that it's for the best.
I don't know, man. This stinks. This stinks to me. Like my boy Jimmy, I'm very protective, okay? And I see it going real south for him.
I guess I'll have to get an office right next to yours.
We're back at the flashback. Let's
Finally out of the mailroom, huh?
Oh. Yeah, let's see. I'm so eager. Show me. What's his face like? Yeah, he doesn't like that. Yeah. Oh, I am so certain. I'm so certain Chuck does not want that. And that's going straight back to that flashback at the beginning of last episode. Oh, finally out of the mailroom. Oh yeah, I'm going to get an office next to yours, mate. Yeah, we're going to be buddy. We're going to be equal. He doesn't like that. And I think it absolutely is. It's this dynamic that he's established, that's been established for so long, as him being the one to help Jimmy. And I think his perception of Jimmy being as below him, socially, intellectually, I think the main two. And I think Jimmy rising higher and higher and higher, you know, by his own merits, by his own work, by his own hard work, isn't sitting well with Chuck at all. And I don't think he can accept it. I think he's really struggling. Oh, that is solid lighting. I'm not going to lie to you. Not being funny, by the way. Oh, sorry. Little note. Okay, well, admittedly, the lighting's changing outside, so, do you know what I mean? That was a little bit less dramatic than I thought it was going to be. But, like, I got lights and it's green. It's kind of blue as well. Oh, it's like I'm in the ocean. Do you know what? I'm kind of feeling that. I'll be honest with you. You have to let me know. Feedback, tell me. Comment down below. What do you think to the new lighting setup? Yeah, he's still not quite got rid of it, has he? What are you doing, buddy?
Yes, hello.
What are you doing? I don't trust. I'm so sorry. I don't trust Chuck. Okay, I'm so sorry. But I see a parking lot and I'm like, is this the one that Gus parked in? It kind of feels like it. I'll be honest with you.
This is the place where we wait.
And is this the guy in El Camino? This looks like the guy in El Camino in the Hummer with the strippers. I'm so sorry. I might be completely wrong with all of this. This shot. Amazing. Oh, hello, hairdo. You really just assembled like Power Rangers, huh?
Guys as green as they come, but
Oh, it's this guy. I love this actor.
doing this long? I just assume we're all heavy hitters.
Okay, you're overcompensating, man.
Dealing with some of these ethnic types, blood tends to run a little hotter. That's just science.
What are you talking about?
Know what I'm saying?
You are an idiot.
So, what you packing?
Whap your dick out, mate. Just slap him with it, please, for me.
Pimento sandwich.
You don't want to tell me what you're carrying, so be it, but you don't have to be a douche about it.
Just told you what I'm carrying.
You don't have a gun?
Man don't need a gun, mate.
Why are you here without a gun?
Because he's got his... Never mind. I don't know why I've decided that Mike's got a massive schlong.
I go old school, the Wilson Combat 1911. I got a Glock 22 Gen 3.
Oh, well, I've got 2 of these, mate. That's all I need. That's right.
Hi,
Amazing.
my name is Price. That's not my name.
I love this guy.
I have a cooler of water in the car, some soft drinks.
Amazing.
I don't drink coffee.
What? No. No, 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 no. Behave. No, stop that right now. No, no, no. That's behavior I will not tolerate. Okay, mate? The f did you just say to me? Like, it's not me that brings up coffee every episode, is it? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. The only reason I mention it is because they mention it. I'll be honest with you. They're shooting shots, mate. Okay, that's all I'll say. That's not all I'll say. It's got to stop.
You didn't bring a gun?
I didn't think I'd need one. Tell you what, if I need a gun, I'll use one of his.
How do you picture that happening exactly?
Oh, please show me.
Well, I guess I'm gonna take it from you.
Yeah.
That is just special.
Do it now.
Are you gonna take one of my guns?
Please. Please, Mike. Yeah.
Take my gun
doing
from
it.
me.
Thank you. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
You can make it not so easy.
You got it.
Oh, that was swift, dude.
Son of a...
Let's see what you got.
He's got such a tired demeanor. I love it. Jesus.
Now that's impressive.
You don't need this many.
You want one?
Amazing. Just take the whole check, Mike. Best scene this season. I'm so sorry if that offended a whole ton of you, but like, come on.
You got this, okay? No problem.
Yes.
Oh God, he's going in.
Can't even tell that's under there. At any point, it's too much, you're uncomfortable, we'll turn around and come home. You want maybe like a safe word?
Yeah, potato.
How about get me the hell home?
Fair enough.
Just go on.
Man, he has really made a lot of progress.
It's dead. Well, could you put it in the trunk?
Oh. Yeah, sorry, I'm forgetting the call he did. He called, yeah, guilt on his face, that right there. Oh, wow. He's got this much power. Of course he does. We've seen this. Everyone just got on board. That's power, dude. Look at this. Look at this. Sorry, as a character study right now, look at this. Look at the power. As much as perhaps he doesn't wield it with any, like I say, insidiousness. Look at the power. Look at the influence that Chuck enjoys, is the word that I would use. And as much as he is a nice person at face value, and I don't think he's intentionally trying to put Jimmy down, like what I've said. I don't think he's trying to do, I don't think he's doing it on purpose. Just look at the life he's got used to, or that he's been used to. That changes a person. And I think honestly it strengthens this argument that he is just used to a certain level of privilege, a certain level of power, a certain level of social status that does inflate ego. Look at it, man. All of it. And I'm not blaming Chuck, man. This is just human nature. It's just kind of what happens to people, right? Under these circumstances, generally speaking. He's gonna get around. Of course he is. Wow. And again, look at this image before us. And I get that he's not been here in a while. Yeah, it's a big... Okay, I'm sorry. I'll step back a minute. It's a big moment.
Come on, let's get you upstairs.
This is huge for him though, and look, Jimmy left behind, carrying the boxes. That image in itself shows you the dynamic. In that's so interesting, and she takes a box. That right there is beautiful. That scene just directly displays all of the character nuances in one scene without any dialogue. Right? Everything that I'm talking about, this ego, this privilege that Chuck has, the level that Hamlin affords certain people, didn't even talk to Jimmy, went straight to Chuck, ushered him upstairs, walked with him. He's like, I'm on board with you. I'm on a par with you. Yeah, we're both powerful men, let's go. Jimmy left behind. Jimmy looked down on. Jimmy carrying more weight than the rest of them, even though he's in the same building, doing the same thing, the same profession. Kim demonstrating her relationship. Sorry, this is such a small thing, and it's a bit of a nerdy thing, I will be honest with you. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And then Kim taking a box and being like, I'll help you, which is characteristic of her character. In such a short time, the show does so much while saying so little in regards to dialogue. That's a beautiful little scene. None of this comes about without Jimmy. None of this scene here, none of this moment, none of this Chuck coming back in, making the progress that he's made All of that's Jimmy. Chuck did a little bit himself, but like Jimmy got him there.
With the hopes of raising that number to 350 or more.
This, I'm so sorry, and I don't know how the world of it works, right? I don't know how the industry works, but surely this gives Jimmy such a good in to Hamlin McGill. Even if it's just a basic office, right? Surely you would bring Jimmy in for getting you this, right? And I see it going away of like, they're gonna be like, cool, thanks kid, see you later.
Fraud, unfair and deceptive trade practices, and racketeering.
This is all Jimmy.
Guys, this is...
Good, he looked at Jimmy. I appreciate you, Hamlin.
I feel as confident about this as anything that's ever come through our doors.
Good, I'm happy about this as long as you give Jimmy.
Second years. Laura will take care of the travel arrangements.
Oh, good.
Glad you're all excited, but can we slow down a second and discuss terms, maybe?
No, of course. Kind of shot out of a cannon with this case.
But again, good, and I'm paying more attention to Hamlin based on this theory that I've got, and perhaps actually he's more benevolent than I at first kind of judged, you know, based on the way that Jimmy treated him and the way that Jimmy was around him, right? And I'm not being funny, but like immediately he's like, Jimmy, you're right, I'll slow down, and he turns to him. That's big, and I'm watching you closely, mate, but you might be in the good books, we'll see.
Look, Chuck is already an equity partner. You, as the lawyer who brought this case,
yes.
we guarantee you, say, 20% of
Hang
the
on.
common.
That will work.
Okay, good, as long as you're happy, I'm happy.
As for money for you now,
yeah,
what we could do is arrange an of-counsel fee. Time that you spent building the case.
Please, thank you.
I think we could go as high as 20,000.
Smash it, mate.
That, too, will work.
Write that check. Bang!
And I'll have Helen cut you a check.
Oh, come on.
I'd like to use 312 as an office.
I'm sorry?
Uh-oh, I'm sensing danger. Oh, God. Hamlin? No. Please smile again. Smile, mate.
Well, come on, guys. I'm going to need an office.
Oh, he's off the case. Of course he is.
Can I have the room?
Oh, not again. No. Everyone stay. Stay. Don't you move, Kim. No. Oh, my God. Okay.
Howard?
Okay.
When the room's clear. Chuck.
Right, so whatever's happening here, Chuck is in on it. And that's that call. That call that he made was to Hamlin. Right, so whatever is about to happen is coming from Chuck, because this wasn't going to happen, and then Chuck called him. So let's see. Chuck, mate. Right.
Jimmy.
Right.
Jimmy, I'm just going to say it.
Hamlin once more delivering the news.
You're not working here.
What are you talking about?
Come on. That's from Chuck.
We want the case. We don't want...
Say it.
The case is all we want.
Why? I know why. Chuck. No. Look at this man's face. Look at this man's face. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. The audacity on Chuck right there. Stop it, sir. Look at him.
You gotta...
Oh. Okay. Oh, I'm so mad.
Walk in here with a multi-million-dollar class action lawsuit.
And do you know what the kicker is? If Jimmy's like, no, you can't have it, doesn't matter. Hamlin McGill goes to those old people. They're absolutely going to go with Hamlin McGill. No question about it, right? You know, these lawyers in slick suits, they're going to go there and they're going to be like, trust me. They've got it. They've got the case. And Jimmy's being pushed out. I saw it coming. And this is absolutely Chuck. And I'm so sorry, but this is such huge fodder for this theory that I'm working on. And I do feel like in that flashback last episode, Chuck was the one who denied Jimmy initially the spot at HHM, and I think it's his ego, and maybe there's more going on, but I just don't think he likes the idea of his younger brother, who he's always seen as Slippin' Jimmy, as being raised on an equal level with him. I just think his depiction in the show, Chuck's depiction in the show so far, has been like, oh, you're such a clever man, you're so clever, oh my god, and I think as a person he's just got used to that, and I think that's very much how he sees himself. I think the last, what has it been, like 2 years of him dealing with what he's had to deal with, that's all he's had. People coming in and being like, you're a clever guy, right? Because he's not been at work, having people stroke his ego on a professional level. And so, I'm seeing that so much. And it's so sad, because that's your brother, dude.
And you don't want me? Why in Christ not?
Yeah, Hamlin, come on.
But I know that you hate me.
Yeah, and that, I know you hate me, Howard. I don't think he does. I think this is all coming from Chuck. I think it's always come from Chuck. Yeah, I'm so curious about Hamlin and how he actually feels.
Why in Christ not?
That look right there. He doesn't know what to say. He's keeping it. He's keeping Chuck's secret.
I'm willing to set that aside to work with you. on this. Why can't you do the same for me?
Hamlin wants to, I think.
What slight did I make to your fine, upstanding character?
Yeah, Jimmy doesn't know. There's never been an obvious slight. There's never been something obvious.
Majority decision has been made by myself and the partners. All due respect to you, Chuck.
Wow. We know that's Chuck from that phone call, right? Like now we as the audience know that Chuck did that. And Hamlin turning to Chuck and like essentially omitting him from any kind of blame. That's like really, really nice from Howard there. Really nice.
Tell me why. Explain it.
Completely valid. And you owe him an answer, dude. Come on.
I don't know what to say.
Wow.
I am very disappointed. I really think you should reconsider.
Wow.
No, I think it's best if Jimmy takes the of counsel fee.
Wow. That little interaction there just shows the power dynamic between Chuck and Howard, which is what I suspected. I've said it in previous videos how I feel like Howard, it's been shown to us in the show that Howard has a lot of respect for Chuck. One of the only people. And that interaction there shows that Chuck is above him. You know, he wields a lot of power in regard to Howard. I wonder where that comes from. It's interesting actually looking back at that. Look at Howard's face
very
here.
Disappointed.
After this.
I really think you should reconsider.
The clenched jaw. Like Howard's clenching his jaw. He's not enjoying this at all. He's kind of like, why are you doing? Why are you twisting the dagger right now, Chuck? Stop it. Stop it. Do you know what I mean?
Keep in mind, he will be well compensated in the back end. It's easy money, Jimmy. No reason not to take it.
Yeah, agreed. But Jimmy doesn't want...
Howard.
He doesn't just want money.
I'm not giving you my case.
You haven't got a choice, dude. I'm so sorry.
And I'm going to tell every one of those clients what a lying, miserable pig you are.
Okay, kind of valid. Okay, fair enough.
If that's your decision, good luck to you moving forward.
Oh, man. HHM, like I said, they're just going to shut him out. They're going to take the case. Easy, right? They've got the chops. They've got the manpower. Jimmy's not even going to get the fee. Oh, okay, look at that as well. Look at that look. Hamlin to Chuck of like, you did this. Look at this. Look at that. Ah, yeah.
What the hell just happened?
I really hope some of this Chuck, Hamlin, Jimmy dynamic gets sorted in this season. I really want to see some resolution, or at least some answers to that.
Sure, just give me a second.
Brilliant. Kim, get questioning, mate. Be like, why? I feel like she's going to be like, why?
What's up?
He built it.
Right.
The class action doesn't exist without him. He deserves a seat at the table.
Good on you, Kim, man.
The decision has been made, Kim.
Not by you, though. Hey, Howard.
Thank you for your input.
But...
Oh, bless you for trying again, dude. She really fought. I love that. I love that little moment. Everything going on in this dynamic and the relationship that these two have, and the way that all she wants to do right now is walk out of this room, and the way she fought against that for Jimmy to be like, I can't walk out. Why? Tell me why. I love that. I love that little moment of her character. She's so strong. I love Kim.
Why?
Come on, Howard.
The partners have made...
The partners. You like saying that, don't you?
Not your concern.
I think it is my concern.
Oh, buddy.
And why is that?
Come on, you got it.
Because he's my friend.
Nice.
And the way I see it, you're not treating him fairly.
Nice.
The way you see it.
Hey, buddy.
I don't know what image you have of him.
Image, exactly. Great word.
Jimmy is a good lawyer, and he works very hard.
Yes! This is everything that I'm saying, and the show knows it. Everything I'm saying is absolutely on purpose, right? This depiction of Jimmy. And he does. He's a good lawyer. He works hard. And everything that Kim just said is the encapsulation of Jimmy in this season 1. Good lawyer, works hard. And it's this image that everybody has of him, right? This thing that everyone seems to see that Kim doesn't see, right? She sees him for who he is. But she's the only one. And so, like, it's absolutely understandable how she's coming to him and be like, why? Right, she's the only one on the outside being like, this makes no sense based on everything in front of us right now. Something else is going on. I wonder if she's going to get it out of him.
I'm saying it because I believe it.
Nice, man.
That you're way out of your depth in this matter.
Wow, condescending, mate.
So, the next time that you want to come in here and tell me what I'm doing wrong...
Know what she said, dude.
Because I don't care.
All right, chill out. You know, she didn't say that at all. She was literally asking why. Okay, you don't like that. Yeah, again.
Stop.
Okay. This is taking a strain on him, this whole situation.
Close the door.
Okay. Are we going to hear it, though, or is this end of scene? Don't you dare. Come on. Come on! Seriously? I'm so sorry for shouting, but, like, come on. Like, for real?
You know, do I hand over the pills first?
Is this a drug deal?
Then I hand over the pills?
Kind of hope it is. Just for the poetry.
Here is what is going to happen.
I knew we needed 3 guys. I knew it. It's a 3-man job.
You gotta chill, buddy. Oh, of course it's Nacho. Okay. I was like looking at the guys like, who am I gonna recognize?
Do you have the money?
My man. Don't, no. Oh, the little run jog thing. No. Oh, I love Mike so much. Finally see him Nacho again, by the way. It's been a while.
Is it all there?
We're short 20. That's fine.
Dude, no, Mike.
Agreed amount or no deal.
Smash it. Go on.
You saying I intentionally shorted you?
No, just an accident, innit?
Mistakes happen.
Exactly.
You're really willing to blow up this deal over 20 bucks?
Why are you trying to blow up this deal over? Exactly. Sorry, he's Nacho. Of course he is. Why would you even short 20 bucks? Like, what's that about, dude? Why you got to create stuff, you know? Okay. Sorry, we're so green now. Hang on. Blue! Kind of white. Yeah, he's assessing Mike, man, isn't he? It's a good thing Mike came on this job, dude. He kept looking at Mike, and I think that last look at Mike was very much like, can I get away with anything here? Mike's a professional, and he absolutely oozes it. Mike saved this deal for this guy. Man, I want a bit more Nacho, I'll be honest with you. To be fair though, I like seeing Nacho at this point again in the show absolutely kind of demonstrates to me that they're just world building at this point, right, in this season. They're establishing more of the world and also establishing it in avenues that are familiar, right? Nacho has association with Tuco, right? That was how he was introduced to us, so it was very fun, very kind of exciting thing for the audience, you know, coming from Breaking Bad, coming to this. And so it was like, oh, Tuco, and then it's like Nacho, and then Nacho becomes a thing. Do you know what I mean? It's such a nice way to introduce a character, and then he's coming back here and it's like, okay, he's part of the world. Yeah, look at Mike standing there until they've all got in the car. Yeah, this man should not be in this line of work.
How did you know not to bring a gun?
I put in a lot of legwork before coming here.
Oh yeah?
A fella you just met with. Name is Ignacio Varga.
Look at him, man.
Runs with a connected crew of drug dealers.
Damn.
Now, his deal he's doing with you, he's doing outside his crew. He doesn't want his bosses to know.
Okay.
But it was in his best interest that things go very smoothly.
Man, he's good, isn't he?
The lesson is, if you're going to be a criminal, do your homework.
I'm not a bad guy.
Oh, hello, Walter.
I didn't say you're a bad guy. I said you're a criminal.
Interesting little distinction there. That's such a cool line. Because it's interesting, isn't it? That's always been the conversation with Breaking Bad, coming into this too. I've talked about it a lot, even in Better Call Saul. And I've made the distinction. I've not necessarily been calling people bad people, but I've mentioned criminality and criminals and breaking the law. And I do feel like they are separate. He's right, they're separate conversations sometimes.
What's the difference?
I've known good criminals and bad cops, bad priests, honorable thieves. You can be on one side of the law or the other.
Interesting the lines we draw.
But if you make a deal with somebody, you keep your word.
Yeah.
You can go home today with your money and never do this again.
Yeah.
But you took something that wasn't yours, and you sold it for a profit. You're now a criminal. Good one, bad one. That's up to you.
Like, okay, I'm not going to go over it here. If anyone's interested, I did, there was an episode, I think that I called it something like a character study on Mike. Maybe somewhere in season 5 or 4 of Breaking Bad. But like, I love his morality. Morality-wise, I think he's the most stable out of any character that I've seen in this universe. And that conversation just there shows that. And I think everything that he speaks there is the absolute truth. And he's got a point. I mean, you think back to, you know, like a really famous one, like Robin Hood. Steals from the rich, gives to the poor. The OG right there. And so it's like, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? All of the distinctions in those two categories. He's absolutely right. And I feel like it's kind of meta. It's what we're all discussing, right? In regard to these shows.
I can get more pills.
And I am sure that fellow will keep buying.
But
he can sleep on it before you decide.
Yeah. Could you imagine if that other guy had come along? He would have tanked this whole thing.
Hey. I was worried about you.
Yeah, let's not forget that kiss they shared in that flashback, by the way.
But tonight,
It's Jimmy Land.
I've got gin, I've got tequila, I've got good Kentucky bourbon.
I tell you what, mate, Jimmy Land sounds awesome.
You have to listen to me rant about what an absolute unwashed asshole your boss is.
Jimmy.
No, Don't deny it. He is
Oh, she knows. What is she gonna tell him? And sorry, I'm assuming that Hamlin has told her maybe what I've been suspecting. And if so, I'm getting ahead of myself, I am. But if so, that shows that this is taking a toll on him, which kind of makes him a bit of a good person. Sorry. Like, it does. I say sorry. You all know. But like, it does. It makes him a bit of a good person because it's getting to him. And it's really nice that actually he's taking Kim under his wing a little bit and actually being like, oh, you're an equal. I can talk to you as a person.
He hates me that much? I hate him more. What you drinking?
I think you should take the deal.
What?
Oh, is she getting in on keeping Chuck's secret?
Taking the deal really is the best thing for you.
Interesting. Because why? Because someone closest to you is working against you? I wonder. Whatever the reason is for Howard doing what he's doing, because he clearly doesn't like it. I don't think he likes it. There's a reason though, and he's told that reason to Kim, and she I feel like she deems it important enough, whatever that reason is, to go along with it. I'm very curious.
You'll build your practice, you'll leave Hamlin.
Is it literally as simple as they just know the truth, and maybe because it's come from Chuck, and they're just protecting Jimmy from that because that would hurt him more to know that Chuck was the one saying all these things and keeping him from these things. Hey man, like maybe it's as simple as that.
You want me to give up the case?
I want you to be happy.
Oh.
You'll get all the financial reward without the risk.
It's true. And you can build your office a little bit more with that money, man. Like, yeah, she's right. She's right. Considering how it's gone, he should absolutely take the money and just use it.
You don't want to go up against the boss. Is that it? You're like a damn pod person.
Oh, and considering what he's saying to her and the way that she stood up to Howard, the strength she showed in regard to Howard in that scene we saw, and the way that he's tearing her down in a way she doesn't deserve, considering what we saw of her and the strength that she displayed there. The question is she gonna wax that strength? Is she gonna flex that strength more here and allow him to kind of say those things to her for the friendship, for the love that she clearly has for him? Because that's the theme. That seems to be the theme this episode. I feel like Howard's doing that for Chuck. I feel like Kim's doing that for Jimmy. For whatever reason, on Howard's side, they seem to be flexing this kind of either respect or love or care and taking it upon themselves, taking all the flack, taking all the bad words on themselves to help a person close to them. There is a bit of a parallel there.
You're like a damn pod person.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know what a pod person is. I'm assuming it's bad though.
What did Hamlin promise you? Did he promise you the office I asked for?
Oh.
Take the deal.
Oh, the strength it took to just walk out of there, man. Bless her. Oh, Kim. Dude, the conflict within her that you saw in her face, they're brilliantly acted, mate. Well done. Are you going to connect the dots with the phone? Oh, Chuck, you're having a good time, yeah? Okay. It's all good for you, huh?
Chuck. Jimmy.
As he put something together. The phone, did he see like a call?
And the space blanket lining in the suit. What a fantastic idea.
Yeah, Jimmy's full of those, mate.
I'm thinking about taking a little walk around the block later on.
Great, Chuck. You should do that.
Yeah, everything's back to normal. Jimmy's at rock bottom. He's in a place where he could really use your help, Chuck, actually. And you're back at work and you're doing well, and so he's fine. You know what I mean? I will be honest with you. I will feel like such an asshole if I'm wrong about the whole thing. It feels like the worse that Jimmy's doing, the better Chuck's doing. And I don't like that.
I came to a decision. I'm going to take that deal.
Good. You should, man. Please. It's the best case scenario.
It is a lot of money.
And you feel so good giving it. I'm so sorry. I'm getting a little sassy with Chuck. I'll be honest with you. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Wish it could have worked out.
Yeah. Imagine that. Two McGill boys, side by side, storming the gates.
Oh, bless him. That's all he wants, man. That's his motivation right there. And it would mean the world to Jimmy to have that. And Chuck's in the way of it. It's so sad.
That would have been great.
The very best. I'll keep on Howard.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course you will.
He might change his mind.
Yeah. There is a way that you could get Howard to change his mind.
How?
Quit. Get in a game of chicken with Howard. He's got to blink.
You'd be right if Chuck was on your side.
Jimmy,
if that's what you want. You know, us working together.
Exactly.
But you can make it happen easily.
He could.
That reception you got yesterday at HHM, how about that, right? The whole lobby of HHM
Jimmy's smart.
applauding. for you.
He sees that, and that's the sad thing. Jimmy's smart enough to see the discrepancy with this situation, and that actually, if Chuck wanted him there, he would be there. He's smart enough to know all that, but so emotionally blinded by the fact that he can't imagine a present or a future or a past where his big brother, who's always helped him, wouldn't help him now. He's smart enough to see everything else, but he can't see that because he's not been trained for that, because he's been trained his whole life to be like, no, my big brother will help me, right? It can't possibly be my big brother. Oh, man.
Game over if working with me is what you really want. Right, Chuck?
Oh, Jimmy knew. No, he does know.
You called him.
Good.
I always turn my phone off before I put it in your mailbox.
Yes.
It was nagging me. So I called the phone company.
Oh, did you?
There was a deleted call.
We're dealing with this. Good.
The only person who could have made that call and deleted it is you, Chuck.
Let's have it out, huh?
Phone must have felt like a blowtorch in your ear.
Right. He really wanted that.
You told him not to hire me. It was always you, right?
Right.
Right back.
Okay,
when
good.
I passed the bar and tried to join the firm, you didn't want me.
Yes.
Speak up.
Oh! I called it. Hey boy, that pinned comment, all right? Last episode, look at the timestamp, okay? It's on there, you can see it, you can read it. Oh, good.
Tell me why.
Okay, good. No, we're getting it right now.
I'm your brother? We're supposed to look out for each other?
Right.
Why were you working against me, Chuck?
Right? Come on, buddy.
Not a real lawyer.
Oh, you bitch.
You're not a real lawyer.
Chuck, mate, you better stand down, son.
University of American Samoa, for Christ.
I told you.
An online course.
I told you
I
he
worked
didn't
my
respect
off
it.
to get where I am.
So did Jimmy, you privileged little f***.
I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer?
What shortcut?
Because you're funny and you can make people laugh?
Oh, come on. You dirty
I thought you were proud of me.
I was. When you straightened out and got a job in the mailroom, I was very proud.
As long as he was below you, huh, Chuck?
So that's it then, right? Keep old Jimmy
Right.
down in the mailroom because he's
Exactly.
not good enough to be a lawyer.
Exactly.
I know you.
Do you?
I know what you were, what you are. People don't change. You're Slippin' Jimmy. And Slippin' Jimmy I can handle just fine, but
I told you.
Slippin' Jimmy with a law degree is like a chimp with a machine gun.
Excuse you?
The law is sacred.
Oh,
If you abuse that power, people get hurt. This is not a game.
And he's not treating it like a game. If you paid any kind of attention to your brother this season, Chuck, you'd have seen he's not treating it like a game. I'm so mad that I'm right. I got to make you understand, right? Like, I'm so mad that I'm, like, for a moment there, I didn't actually consider that I was right. I didn't actually consider that he knew. Even though he must, do you know what I mean? Even though while I was theorizing it, I was like, no, he must not. I was so generous. I was like, nah, he doesn't. I've literally talked about it. I read out my comment this episode and I was like, nah, he doesn't know. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. He was, man. He's not just a bad brother, he's a bad person. F you, Chuck. You privileged, classist little shit.
But Slippin' Jimmy with a law degree is like...
Yeah, but and that's the thing. He got that law degree, though, Chuck. What does that tell you? You know what I mean? Like, he's not actually looking at the person before him. He's being like, no, you're still that same person, but with this extra stuff. And it's like, you can have been that person, and you can have got to a different place. Like, this is the thing. That's insane. This idea that you can't change is insane. And this is the first time in this show that Chuck has not only not been a clever person, but straight up been just a dumb.
You have to know, on some level, I know you know I'm right.
And that's your problem. That's your problem. You can't be wrong, can you, Chuck? This is the thing. This is what everything we've seen in regard to Chuck's character, right? All of this privilege, him coming into HHM and getting this standing ovation, this applause, getting on the case, and last episode seeing across from him on that desk, the, slime face coming at him and being like, oh, you could have been on the Supreme Court, and, stroking his dick. All of that stuff, all of that image of himself that Chuck has, and he's persuaded himself that he can't possibly be wrong. Everything that anyone's ever told him is that you can't be, you're a clever guy, you're a clever man. And so that's given him this image of himself that's just not real.
You know I'm right.
That's so cruel. And I hate that you don't realize how cruel you're being.
I got you a 20-pound bag of ice.
Right. And after all that, and that line there just cements and reminds you as the audience exactly. Jimmy's been helping him this whole time. You know, everything that's been going on with Chuck, Jimmy's been helping him this whole time. And it's not been easy. We saw at the beginning of the season, he wasn't making bank, dude. Right? He couldn't afford it. The kindness and the selflessness in a time when Jimmy couldn't afford it, and he still gave that to his brother, and just look at how he's repaid him.
Some bacon and some eggs and a couple of those steaks that you like.
I hate this so much.
After that, you're on your own.
Yeah, good.
I am done.
Good.
Jimmy.
No, f you, Chuck.
Jimmy!
Get out of here, dude.
Jimmy!
Alright, no, I've lost all sympathy for Chuck, I'll be honest with you. No, just let him go, just like that, yeah. That's really cool as well. For the work, the ending of last episode with this episode and the contrast between those two things. Think about it. Last episode, we had him coming out of the house, actually, you know, conquering his fear, this thing inside him that's debilitated him for so long. And the thing that actually persuaded him to do that, the thing that motivated him to do that was work, was the idea that people would see him as this lawyer again that could possibly, you know, reach to the heights of the Supreme Court. That's the motivation right there. That's what got him out of the house. That's what kind of cured him, not cured, but like, that's what made him better to the point that he's got to this episode. And then we come to this episode here, and for the sake of his brother, for the love that he's supposed to hold for his brother, the care that he's supposed to hold for his brother, he can't even step out of the door. Isn't that prevalent? I'm so angry. I'm so sorry. Look, you can go back and read that full pinned comment. I'm so glad that I put that comment, because I called it. But I put a paragraph in there that said, like, if I'm right, I'm gonna be so happy, and I am, but I'm gonna be so mad and sad and disappointed. And I am, because Jimmy can't ever, well, I mean, this is great. This is like, it's better that Jimmy knows. Jimmy can only ever possibly move on from this by knowing that this is how Chuck feels, right? And we're going back, what was it? What was that flashback last episode when Jimmy passed the bar told Chuck? It was several years ago. Chuck's been holding this over Jimmy for years. People don't change. I can't believe someone like Chuck has actually said that. And honestly, I'm revising my whole thing of like, Chuck is a good person. I think to a certain extent, you know, this is the thing. At face value, on the surface level, he's a perfectly nice person, but I feel like he's got these deep-seated philosophies that we just saw in this episode that are extremely, 1, damaging, 2, unfair, 3, outright, honestly, and it sounds dramatic, but diabolical, dude. Imagine seeing people this way. They do one thing and they can never come back from that. That's so cruel. That's so unfair. And honestly, it's just incorrect. He's wrong. He doesn't see his brother for who he is. You know, like last episode, I went into it really deeply about how he's so hardworking. Kim said it all this episode. He's so hardworking. He's a good lawyer. Oh, and oh my God. I like right in this moment, I hate Chuck. I really hate Chuck. I honestly really hope that Jimmy goes to Hamlin. I want him to have a conversation with Howard and be like, dude, what the f? And honestly, I kind of want to see a little bit of reconciliation between those two, because I don't think a lot of it came from Howard. Maybe it did, but I don't think it did. I think it was all from Chuck. I just, the absolute unwillingness to shift that I saw from Chuck this episode, from his preconceptions about a person, is so privileged, so damaging, so disgusting. And I'm so angered by it, because you see it in society all the time. By the way, at the time of recording, we've just gone through the coronation of King Charles in this country. So this is hitting me quite hard, I'll be honest with you. If you can't work it out, I very much disapprove. We're spending so much millions of money on this coronation of this king of people when there's a cost of living crisis in this country. And not only that, this coronation, he tried to get like the British public to pledge their allegiance to him, something like that. And it's that kind of attitude. And it's like, actually, can you f off? It's this class of people that think they're above you because of X, X, and X. And it's like, stop. It's damaging. It's wrong. We are all equal. We really are. Until you do something that's kind of reprehensible, and unless you commit a murder or something like that, we're all equal. Stop judging people. Unless you like genuinely start to do harm upon other people for whatever reason, whether it's physical or mental, we're all equal. And that's as simple as it is. It's really simple. Nothing in this world arrays you above another person. And it boils my blood. It boils my blood. Okay, I'm so sorry. I've gone on so long this episode. We'll call it there. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Pimento, episode 9. Next week will be the finale. If you've enjoyed this, man, subscribe to it. Come on, behave yourself. Oh, don't behave yourself. Hey, break loose, break the rules. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, as always, to my beautiful patrons. Thank you so much for your support. By the way, anyone who is unfamiliar, I'm starting to put early access YouTube videos up on Patreon before they're available on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, feel free to have a look over there. If not, it'll all be on here on YouTube free of charge. So feel free not to do that as well. Thank you so much for watching once more. And yeah, I'll see you next time.